And we know the bees can have already create so much, and the bees and bee products have many bioactive ingredients. So that's why we can use the bees and bee products to treat diseases, to treat human beings hurt. And in the next picture, or in the next chapter, I will also introduce something about the bee venom. And when we talk about that chapter, you will know the value of the bee venom is very brilliant. And in our world, the background, the future of the bees and bee products is very good and bright.
那大家一定会在想呢，我刚才是不是说的大话了？
Yes, and even for one kind of bee products, we have many different types. Like honey has hundreds of kind of honey, and even for the bee pollen and the propolis, and even for the raw jelly, different origins of the flowers, and there has the bees can create different kind of raw jelly, not like the chicken or the ducks, and because if you keep chicks, and it will make the environment not good. And but for the bees, you don't need to feed them. You don't need to feed them. You don't need to clean their beehives, and they can make everything clean, and they can even produce many products. So that's why we say the bees are environmentally friendly.
所以说，人类经常标榜自己，说人类跟其他动物最大的区別就在人類會製造食品。
Always, human beings said they can produce products, but it is not really true, because the bees can create the products themselves, like honey. For honey, bees can create honey, collect honey, and but because they make their sweet things from the flowers, and to change the sweet things into honey. So we say they create, and so they create this honey, and in more early than the human beings. So I think I have put the bees in a highway. I can see the picture. They are the pictures of the honey, and anyway, like for the honey, we can collect the honey from different types of the bees. And besides, after we collect the honey, we can make them in different use, such as we can make them into the medical use. Like we can mixture the honey with other medicine. And for across, many people use it into, like maybe in the breakfast you already have the honey and with the bread. For the function of bee products, it takes many days to talk about it. So here I'd like to just introduce some most concept issues and misunderstood issues. For honey, many people think if I drink too much honey, I will suffer the diabetes. Or for the diabetes patients, they are afraid to have such honey because they think it is too sweet. And after I get honey, maybe my disease become more serious. But that is wrong. For nearly more than 10 years, actually fructose accounted for more than 50% of the total sugar in honey, and fructose metabolism is not dependent on the insulin. So fructose intake does not stimulate the secretion of the peptides in the stomach. So but the peptides will stimulate the insulin secretion. That is, the fructose will not affect the insulin secretion. So fructose in honey can be used to supplement the energy and in short term. But we need to make sure the right time to have the honey. We know the diabetes can be divided into two types. Always for the type 2 diabetes, type B, and the people always afraid that if I get too much sugar, it is very bad. But some reports indicated that for the type B diabetes, that is not the sugars become wrong. That is protein. Like always, the insulin's metabolism master dependent the receptor cells, and for the diabetes patients, their receptor cells be covered with a protein coat, and so the protein coat cannot get the insulin, so the insulin cannot be to be digested or to be go out in a normal level. And in China, always the people in south of China can suffer the diabetes easily, because till now many people began to have a high protein intake. They think the protein is better than just the categories, and so they have the food has they have their food with a high level of their metabolism of their sugar. One German expert has reported that in the human beings we have some genes relative to the insulin metabolism. That is if you feel hungry, and the gene will ask your body to decrease the secretion of insulin, and when you feel and it takes maybe some hours, and so if we can control the time, and we can have the honey better, like you can see the point. That if we, when the people, for example, if you feel hungry and maybe the gene began to modulate and to tear the body, you cannot secrete the insulin now because you are hungry. If you secrete more, and you will be have a very bad level of the health. And so if we can control the time, we have the honey at the 1.5 hours before or 2 hours after meal, and that can prolong the stimulation of pancreatic insulin secretion. That is during the 1.5 hours or 2 hours after meal. During this stage, and the insulin is closed. Insulin secretion is closed. And if you have the honey, and it may ask them to open. Actually, if you get a high amount honey intake, it's also harmful for your body, because maybe you destroy the balance with a high amount of honey. And so we must control and to control the amount. Besides, there's no proof indicating that honey could accelerate the sugar metabolism routine, and that we cannot just according to our direct knowledge. Like we don't have the proof, so we cannot say the honey is bad. That sentence is wrong. We don't have the proof. Many people worry about raw jelly. Because in the sex hormones in real jelly. They think there must be sex hormones in real jelly because it is real jelly to make the queen bee become female, and even some patients who, especially for the female patients, they suffer some private diseases and they get the real jelly and they notice the things becomes worse. Like they suffer some breast problem and they notice the breast become worse than before. So so they think the real jelly must have a bad effect on the private diseases. So, but that is not true because for the nutritions such as real jelly and other nutrition with a high value, if you get those nutrition at once, it will accelerate the condition of all your body of the body. Like it makes your level from 1 to 2, and so the accelerate all the metabolism, and so even the diseases becomes worse than before. However, when the first stage passed, like your body get another balance, like from 1 to 2, and you have already on the second floor, second level, and then your body began to adapt to the new balance, and then the real jelly can help you to recover you and to treat the diseases. And here I'd like to say 2 points. Firstly, we have analyzed the hormones in real jelly, and we noticed the dosage of hormones in real jelly is very, very low, and even lower than a normal egg. And secondly, we must say, of course, although the real jelly don't have the sex hormone, but it can help the sex hormone. According to the general knowledge, always the women like to take the real jelly, and they think it makes the real jelly makes them become more beautiful. And so some males come to ask Professor Miao and say, Professor Miao, can I have the? It is a male. Can I have the real jelly? And Professor Miao said, yes, of course, why not? And the male said, I don't want to. I want to, but I don't want to. And because I'm afraid I will become from a man to a woman, and that's ridiculous. And so, and Professor Miao said, according to some research, some reports, they are indicated that the real jelly can modulate both the sex hormones. Like it can accelerate the sex function, not only good for the females, but also for the males. It will not change from male to man to a woman. Some decades before, in China, we have a good consumption amount about real jelly. And even for some elderly people, because the small children are the apples of their eyes, and they think they want to have use the best things for their grandchildren. And there are some things appear, like for the baby girls when they were 3 to 5 year old, and they get the real jelly. And then their parents notice that they becomes grow up faster, and and then some experts have reported on some newspapers that if a baby girl gets the real jelly, and he can grow up too faster when he was a baby. And so after that report, the consumption of real jelly has been decreased in China. sharply, decreased sharply. And so, until now, many researchers in China and even in the world want to do the research to prove that the royal jelly will not. It is not the royal jelly that make the baby girl to have that problem, but unfortunately, that is true. That the royal jelly can accelerate the growing up. But don't worry, that is not because, but that things will not happen to the males. And they notice, and so the experts notice that maybe some difference between the male and female make this change, the difference happen. And they notice when the baby girl come from their mother, and they also have the sex hormones from their mother. And so even some baby girls can have their physical period in a very young year old. And so and we know the royal jelly can accelerate the hormones function. So for the baby girls, the royal jelly intake accelerates the female hormones from their mother, and so it is that the female hormones from the mother makes them become growing up quickly. And but for the men, for the baby boys, they don't have the sex hormones from the mother, and so they will not be affected. And according to our experience, when we notice that if you have royal jelly a high amount, and it will make you stronger. And if you have royal jelly very little, and it make you have a good ability. That is so. According to our experience, when a man or a woman about 18-year-old, and we know that during that age, all the growing up will be stable or be accelerated. If the person come here and we see he is very short, and he's very short, and he want to become taller than before, he want to become taller, and we suggest him to have royal jelly in a very small amount, because the small amount makes them growing up higher. But of course, for some people, they are very thin but very tall. Not like me, I'm tall. Not like me, but it was nothing. The people very thin and tall, and they want to become stronger. And so we suggested them to have a high amount of royal jelly. They are different. So that's why we need to control the use of royal jelly. Two things. Firstly is, of course, for the audience, if you want to grow up higher, or if you want to, you can. The royal jelly will not affect because you miss the stage. But of course, if you want to become stronger, you can have royal jelly. It's good for you. And the second question is, Professor Miao said, according to the experience, and not only his, according to some experience, and even from the clinical feedback, and the royal jelly can control the birth of, control the sexual of a baby or a girl, pregnant, for the pregnant. And for the audience, do you so according to your knowledge, so you think it is a man or the woman who can control the sexual of the baby before the pregnant? According to your knowledge, a question: who control? Who dominant? Women? One women? Two women? Which you say is right, and but we know according to the biochemistry or bioscience, and it is the men who decide who has the female cells or the male cells. And so in China, always the government says, and even the doctor said, it is according to your husband, not you, because you just have X, and he will have X or Y. And but that sometimes is not really true, because it is yes, the chance is 5 to 5, and but who can although the chance is made by the husband, the chance is made by the husband, but who will choose? Who will choose the chance? Who will choose it is X or Y? It is controlled by the women. And always, if you have raw jelly, and both of the couples will change their environment of their of that thing. And so when the environment of the cells can after you get the raw jelly, the environment is very suitable for the Y, and so it is you have a high opportunity to get a baby boy. And there is a joke that in our college and hospital that in our Apitherapy hospital, and many people know the raw jelly can maybe accidentally they know the raw jelly is good for the rate of baby boy, and but for the Apitherapy hospital, the doctors they are always keep the raw jelly. And so, because they think the raw jelly can make them strong, not because of their higher rate of baby boy. And but in the hospital, there are many baby boy comes. Always the doctor give birth baby boys, give birth the female infants. And but in our college, always the college, although they know the raw jelly is very good for their health, but some people don't always have them regularly, and because they always go outside and to do the research and to do many things, and and in our college, the B Science college, always they give birth the female ones. In hospital, the male ones. So in hospital, the male ones, the baby boys, and in the college, always the baby girls. Maybe it's a different attitude to the raw jelly. That's true. Anyway, that's true in our college and our hospital. And in animal experiments, we use the raw jelly on the rats, and we notice the rats with the raw jelly can give birth more baby rats than the normal control group. And but for the clinical, we have some clinical cases, and they don't. Of course, human beings don't like rats. Human beings always give birth 1 to 2, always give birth 1 to 2 babies. And so, but for the pregnant women, and when they get the raw jelly in the first stage of the pregnant, like the first 3 months, and they can notice the embryo of the baby, the embryo in the mom becomes grew up faster, and but so some pregnant women come here and to ask him, will it become bigger and bigger? And at first, Professor Miao also afraid of that, but some pregnant give up to have raw jelly, and some women still want to have raw jelly because they think the raw jelly makes them have good energy, and they go faster than before. So for the women who insist to have who still have the raw jelly, they notice the growing up will start at about 3 to 4 months, and then the baby grow up normally. But after they give birth, the baby come out and they notice the baby whose mother has raw jelly become like have a better quality. That means maybe the skin and the muscle is better than the women who hasn't got the raw jelly. And so, of course, that's just some clinical cases, but we think maybe the raw jelly really can help the pregnant women whose embryo is not good. In my memory, when I was young and live in the countryside, and my father has kept some bees, and that time I always go and run around and always be stung by the bees, and I hate bees. But my father told me that no, you can accept the sting, because the sting in the bees can make you have a high health condition. And so when I grew up, I still remember my father's words, and I go to the bee science college, and I want to search why bees can give us a better health condition. And when I searched for some knowledge about bee venom, I was amazed. That time I still remember in the Asian times in 1972.
1979年的时候是45美金。
In 1979, the price of the bee venom is about $45 per gram. Yeah, and I think you must know till now the price for 1 gram it has become $10,000. So I think if we can develop develop the bee venom, and we can make a big amount of money. Of course, can change not only change the healthcare condition, but also the daily condition. That time, my mother has suffered rheumatoid arthritis, and till now, no medicine can cure the rheumatoid arthritis completely. Also, and during that time, many decades before, some decades before, and I searched the medical books, and there is one record saying that the bee venom can make the rheumatoid arthritis better, and many patients would like have the hope on the bee venom. So Professor Miao get some bees back to home, and to help his mother. And his mother, after his mother gets the bee sting, and his mother saying, "Well, it is not good for seeing the bees die slowly." And his mother has a kind heart, and he asked Professor Miao that could you invent something that makes the bee venom come out, but makes them still alive. And so at that time, the Professor Miao is very interested to the electronic things, and so he invented this electronic collector, and this electronic collector asked the bee sting at the machine, and then after the attack the machine, and then we can collect the bee venom. And that machine can collect a good amount of bee venom. You can see the picture there. You can see the picture. Many bees attack the machine and the collector. And you can see this picture, and we can collect the bee venom under this net, because the bee we make this gap is just like the bee shape, and the bees get into this net and to secret the bee venom. And then the bees, after they secret the bee venom, they will go out, and we use a very softer cover under this thing. So because this is very soft, so the bees go out and without